what was the one thing that had the biggest impact on your ability to function professionally again after the breakdown?
That would be the energetic work, because
Hmm.
not only did it get rid of, the trauma, and the physical aspects. So there were the pathogens of virus still remaining from the glandular fever, so actually getting those out of the body. But then it helped me to move on and have, with a higher vibration, just doing an energy practice every morning. And whenever I thought about it in the day, if I was feeling particularly low or tired, just being able to tune in with myself and connect with the different energy centers through the body. So some people know them as chakras. I refer to them very often as emotion vortexes. These key
I've never
points that
heard that
actually
phrase. I
I
quite
just
like that, actually, emotional vortexes. Because,
really,
yeah, the,
yes,
the
yeah,
meditation
because
practice
they
I
do.
use, she refers to them as chakras, indeed. And that's, I think, probably the only phrase I've heard before. Is that what you said? Emotional
Emotional
vortex.
vortexes.
Wow, that's a
Yeah.
really cool phrase. I really like that.
And so just by tuning in and setting the intention to actually get those fired up and flowing again, they can become stagnant. They can, if you've had a difficult day, we can have emotions that very often we might suppress, which, as I shared earlier, I
I'm
was
pretty sure
doing
it happens in all
definitely.
of our lives.
Yeah, absolutely. Laughing is a great one at moving energy, but to actually do a set intentional practice of, right, let's get these vortexes flowing, let's get the energy moving, let's get rid of, the low vibrational stuff that we don't want hanging around. Life happens, so we know we're going to have difficult experiences, as well as the good ones. But when we have a practice that we know we can actually get that shifted and flowing again, it helps so much. So that for me has definitely been the the main pivotal sort of technique, if you like, because it helps with the mind, it helps with the emotions, it helps physically.
I totally associate with that in terms of like meditating every single day myself. Although the next question I was going to ask you is what could you recommend to any founder, entrepreneur, business person listening, and they are thinking, listening to you thinking, yes, I'm feeling all of that and I must be, in overwhelmed with my business, or indeed heading for burnout, they are highly likely to be mentally overloaded. Like the thing that got you back on track professionally, it kind of right now in the conversation feels quite heavy, quite a process to learn and be able to put into practice. But would you be able to recommend anything to stabilize one's mind, one's emotions, something maybe a little simpler than that, where people can actually latch onto it and think, okay, I can do this every day from now on to help me get on that
Yeah,
road to better look after myself?
yeah, and I think the simplest one. Well, I would say there's two things that I would recommend together. Well, the first one is breath work, and just again, when you recognize what the breath does, you do it all the time without having to think about it, thankfully. Um, but just by recognizing where is my breath right now, let's just slow it down, tune in. And, if you want to do the box breathing, which is great, especially for anxiety. So a lot of people I hear have what is termed sort of medical anxiety. So they understand there's things going wrong. And I'm sure I had some of that myself. Anxiety in perimenopause and menopause years is, very common as well. So being able to breathe in for 4 and then holding for 4, breathing out for 4 and then holding for 4. And that's why it's called a box breath. If you can't actually see what I'm doing, it's going, if you imagine just tracing the outline of a box. So as you're breathing in, you're following the line upwards. As you're sort of holding that, you're just going along the top of the box at the same pace, breathing out, coming down the side of the box, and then just holding again as you come along the
Yeah.
bottom. And so for people that are quite visual, that can really
Yes.
help, is having
Literally
that to
follow
follow.
follow that
Yeah.
square.
And it also takes their mind off of what was causing, the angst or whatever was going on at the time.